I need to figure out my software. Anyway, first off, hello everyone. AmyR here, Prairie Paper and Ink, face, card making space, all the things. When I was scrambling, I have stuff in the software and it went from my regular intro and it immediately flipped over and it was going to do the Halloween intro.
Oh,
that's why I was like, stop. No, I need to figure out this ridiculously expensive, crazy software so I can do things properly. But it was quick. It was quick. The Halloween intro is fun. It's just...
It's not Halloween card time.
No, I'm not doing a Halloween card today. Trust me, there will be many, many Halloween cards. I love making Halloween stuff. It's fun. Everyone, welcome to the chaos. I am flustered. I'm sweating. I am when I go live anyway, because it's a lot. It's crazy, but I'm sweating. Sweating. Oh, the anxiety. Anyway, everything should be good. We are literally gonna be winging it today. I did very little prep work because too many thoughts bouncing around in my head, too many things, and just
You did it though.
I did it. We're live. Only a few minutes late. Just a smidge, nothing too completely insane. Oh, these are one. How does this... I haven't even used this set yet. Anyway, I appreciate you all. Oh, that's how they did it. Okay. I appreciate y'all being here. As always. I really do. And then, yeah, on top of just all of it, I'm stressed out. I got so many things on my plate. I kind of briefly mentioned it yesterday because someone had commented on how bad they felt. Yeah, my office flooded again. Even worse this time. So, trying to deal with all the things. It happened, what was that, a month ago, whenever it was. Because for those that aren't aware, I work, this is our garage. It's just what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. And yeah, it's been crazy. It's been crazy. And the rain came in because we got a ton of rain and it just right in the corners of our garage doors. And it was enough. A significant amount came in and dealing with it. I got fans going and all of it, and all the stuff that got wrecked last time is gone. It's gone. So we're just dealing with it. We're drying it out. We got fans and we might have to pull out a couple more fans, and I'm just so yeah. Everything's great. Everything's great. And yeah, it is.
At least this will never happen in the winter. Because everything else would be
bonkers. Tell Deborah, she's commenting, she says she's not seeing anything. Tell her to just refresh. Post it in the chat, because obviously she can't see me talking. Hey Deborah. Just refresh. I've had that happen. If you are waiting for a live stream, we'll just get this one a little out of the way, because it's happened to me. It's you're waiting for the live stream. Everybody's, in the chat, having a great time. We're all, and then the live stream's, supposed to start, because it'll post on the bottom. It'll say waiting for whoever. So in my case, it'll say Prairie Paper and Ink, whatever. And then for me, it'll still say that, whoever I'm watching, and I'll say that, and I'll see all these people hi, so-and-so, and they're interacting. And I'm like, am I crazy? There's nobody there. There's nobody there. But it just, it's it gets stuck. And then I just refresh and it pops up. Because it's for some reason, I guess my account didn't get the notification that, that person went live. So yeah, when that happens, just hit refresh and it should work. It should work. Live streaming is a imperfect, very chaotic thing. And it's always changing. Because YouTube keeps changing things, and then the software, because people use different software on the back end, and that ends up, updating. Anyway, welcome to the chaos. Chris needs to build you a deck in the garage to put yourself on. Yeah, no. That's not the type of stuff he does. And I actually considered it, building a platform in here, but that is a level of construction and expense that is not even possible, because for us to even do it now, we couldn't do it then because it's expensive. The garage floor is sloped to keep water out.
Yeah.
So we've got everything. Like, I have so much jury rigged insanity. Like, my massive desk we have things jury rigged to get it as level as possible, because literally the floor in here is sloped. And yeah, building a platform, we would have to take everything out of here, which can't. I have to work. I work 7 days a week. And yeah, it would be expensive, because there would be some serious geometric stuff and things to make it level. So, and again, it'd be different if this was like our forever home. I probably would have sealed off the garage completely and just taken over this whole space. But anyway, okay. Oh, good. And yeah, Deborah, you can see us. Everything's good. We're live. Anywho, so that's just what we're going on. You must need to get stuff. Yeah, well, thankfully, again, I keep everything up off floor. I recommend that to anyone anyway. If you're storing things, even if you're not like me working in your garage, if you're storing things in your garage, and same with your basement, keep it off the floor. Just rule of thumb. Keep it off the floor. Have shelves or little platforms or just anything, keep things up off the floor. And for the most part, I already do that in here, or I have things in the plastic containers, like the kitchen, like the fridge bins, those sorts of things. Because I say that keep it off the floor. I have so much stuff on the floor, it's kind of gross. But I keep my like stamps and dies and things that do touch the floor, like in those sorts of containers. And anyway, okay. Doodly doo. You live in interesting times. Yeah. Anyway, I was looking at the weather a couple days ago. I saw a huge storm. Yeah, we got a lot of rain, and obviously the wind was just enough to just drive it in. And
We got a lot of rain too.
we did. We got a lot, and it blew in, and yeah. There's no point crying about it. I could cry about everything. I could sit here. I've cried on lives. You guys have seen me just sit and sob. But yeah, it's just what we deal with. It's just what we deal with.
We've had a lot of like instances of ground sinking around our house.
Yes. Yep, the
Just
ground
because of the amount of
sinking
rain.
and all the craziness. Like, our back deck was going like this. Like,
Sloping a bit,
and that was stressful, because I was like, it's gonna like rip off that. Literally, it was. But we were able to get a hold of the guy that helped build it, and he came out and, jacked it up and got it level for us. And just, yes, because literally same thing. We had our barbecue like jury rigged to level it out. That's just what we do. It's just what we do. Anyway, we're gonna make a card. That's the plan. And I will just switch down, you guys, like, as I'm going to, because I did not prep ahead of time. Sometimes I do. It kind of helps us. It's funny when it comes back to what I do. Obviously, I am a card maker. This is what we do. For a lot of my lives, I prep ahead of time as much as I can. Stamp things and die cut things and glue things together, whatever. And then I've done some lives where I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm just like going on the fly. And a lot of you have said you love that, like the real time, And so today, just heads up, that's what this is going to be, because I've got nothing done. Nothing. It's been crazy. Holy, Mari was saying they got 7 inches of rain east of PA. We're on the way to Candle Lake.
Oh wow.
That's a lot of rain, and we need it.
Yes, we do.
Especially up north. We need the rain, and Manitoba, I think, is where most of the wildfires are right now.
BC too.
As BC BC generally, like in the Rockies and stuff, they get their share. But yeah, we need the rain. The more rain, the better, because the wildfires have been not fun. And again, we're fine here, because I get messages and people asking about that, because, smoke drifts down. That's, again, nature, wind, woo, Even when we do have a lot of wildfires, we had, like a couple months ago, a lot in our province. That's much norther. You go north here, and it turns into full wilderness. Like the
Really?
top half of our province is mostly uninhabited, and it's lots and lots of lakes and lots of forests, and we don't have forests around here. So I'm not concerned about that, but yeah. Anyway,
200
okay.
kilometers north of here, and you're just nothing but forest all the way to the Arctic Ocean, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots and lots of trees. Part of me wishes we had more trees around here, but it is farming as far as the eye can see around here. Just lots and lots of fields. Okay. Okay. Let me while we chat. I do have a mostly supply list, sort of. And we're just gonna see. And this is where it's nice because it is Sunday, so I do have the unpaid intern in the room with me. I forgot to mention he's here.
I am here.
He's in the corner. He's helping. He's helping.
Change my corner.
Yeah, he's chained in the corner. He's not allowed to leave. He's not allowed to leave. And yeah, I might want that. So he will help add links if I go completely off kilter. And oh, I had other scraps. Anyway, just people get asked about this. This is from IKEA. It's one I don't remember the name of it, but it's the bins that they've had for a million years and they still carry. These little doohickeys are on Kathy Zielski's blog website. She has free little printables, and they'll be easy to find because she shares all sorts of like printables that she does up. So I printed them, and then I just ran them through my little laminator, and then that's how I keep a lot of my like scraps. Just convenient. So that's my little scrap bin. Just I get asked about that a lot, and that's all that is. So yeah. Okay. And literally I am like sweating. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna do a bit of die cutting, and then we're just gonna see. we're just gonna see what happens. Cause honestly, I have a rough idea. Like in my head I can kind of picture the card. I'm just not sure how we're gonna get there. So I have this die set. This is the Fantasy Bouquet. I have the ILYSM die set, which stands for, well, one, it can be I like you so much or I love you so much. I thought this was really cute, you know? So I have that. I have the beautiful branch, which I don't know if I even added that to the list.
I don't see it in here.
Okay, it's this one. Just search. No, go S1020 and it'll pop up. And yeah, that's what I have at the moment. That's what we're working on. We're just gonna do a little bit of die cutting. And the sentiment, I die cut, ooh, don't want to lose any of the pieces, from Simon's white glitter cardstock, which I'll show in a sec. I don't want to lose these. I like you. Love you. I love you so much. Glitter. Kathy Z's air conditioner was leaking during a live. Yes, it was. I was in the chat during that, and I felt so bad for her because I understand that, and I also extra understood because her air conditioning, her little unit is literally right above where she's filming.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he gets it. So like all the tech and cords and everything, and I was like, I felt for her. That, and she still finished alive. Yeah.
Nothing bad ever happens when water gets on paper.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, actually, like cardstock ain't cheap, man. But no, she did darn good. She finished her live, and I think she got her people out to help fix the unit, and I'm sure it's all good. And yeah, but yeah, I understand that stress. I understand that stress big time. It ain't good. It ain't good. And if it had been me, I probably would have quit the live and gone and cried. Anyway, okay. Okay. Props to her. Yes. Yeah, no. Kathy Z, she is good people. She is a gem and I loves her. Okay. I'm also using, oh, that's what I was going to say. I got distracted by the whole die cutting and air conditioning units. Simon's glitter cards. They've got a bunch of different colors. They've got many. This is the white one I'm using. Because I do get asked about, because not all glitter paper is created equal. Literally. Because yeah, people ask, like, does it shed? You know, because I get it. If people watched my live last night, I have no problem with glitter. I'll work with loose glitter. It's fun. But a lot of people don't like it because it is true. Glitter is the herpes of the craft world. Once you've got it, it's going to spread to everything. If you like the look of glitter, but you don't like loose glitter, like you just aren't going there, don't want to deal with it, something like this is fabulous because it doesn't shed. It die cuts wonderfully, as I just showed. Simon's brand of glitter paper, yeah, does not shed. It stays glittery, fabulous. The white, you could even add ink to if you wanted. I've never really done that, but you could. Comes in several colors. It's wonderful. And theirs comes in like mostly 6x6. I think they've got a few other specialty ones that are larger. But anyway, lots of colors. So this is a good one. Altenew has really good glitter cardstock as well that Simon carries. Lawn Fawn? Does Lawn Fawn have glitter cards? I'm just trying to think off the top of my head because again, just options. But yeah, I've got this Altenew Tonic. I've shown that. I used it in a recent video. That one is another good one. All their colors, fabulous. Die cuts, fabulous. So yeah, Altenew Tonic. Simon Says Stamp. I think Lawn Fawn has had glitter cardstock. If they have, they're great. Lawn Fawn makes great stuff. Those are the ones I can speak on directly. Because again, glitter cardstock, there have been some other brands out there. I remember someone telling me they had some it was really thick and it had almost like a plasticky back to it. And I think it was from one of the big box stores. And they're like, it wouldn't die cut to save their life. And I've tried that stuff. It's garbage and it smells funny. So there's my treatsy on glitter paper. So I'm also using these are all Simon Says Stamp cardstock colors. And that's another thing I get asked a lot. And there's lots of options now, which is awesome. Because especially when it comes to good color cardstock, the more options, the better. I've been using Simon's cardstock for many years. Many, many, many years. And it is very nice. Solid core, solid color, blah, blah, blah. And most of it is 100-pound or higher. There's only a couple of them, and it says right with the listing, it'll say 100-pound or 90-pound, etc. But most of it is this heavyweight. Okay. I wanted that. Where's that other die? I already lost a die. What the heck? Okay. So yeah. Here's another scrap. So it's good stuff. I use it for card bases. I use it for my die cutting, and it's fabulous. Fabulous. Okay. So I'm gonna die cut that one. Yeah. Okay. I got rid of all my loose glitter years ago. I'll still pick up a rubber stamp and see a glimmer. Told you. It lasts forever. It lasts forever.
You need an exorcist to get rid of that.
Even with an exorcist, you're not going to get rid of glitter. So
Power of paste compared
Concord 9th has great glitter cardstock, doesn't it? Okay, yes, Concord 9th, because Concord 9th also is another one. Like good cardstock. Yeah. Again, options. Do you need them all? No. But my thing too, if you are curious about a brand's cardstock, most offer sample packs or variety packs. Some do sample packs. I know Simon does it. They sell out quite often. But they have ones that are A2 size, so you get like a sheet of every color, and they also have like a full pack where it's a full sheet of each color. So I recommend things like that. Get a sample pack. You know, that way you get some colors and you can compare to what you've got or just see what you think of it, you know? Because, yeah, there's a lot of options. And as always, trying to show things on a screen, you never, it just, especially when it comes to like colors and like the weight and blah, 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 you know? So, sample packs, those are always a great thing because, yeah, it's one of the little drawbacks of ordering online. Some stuff I can show, some of it's somewhat accurate, but at the same time, sometimes it's like a screen just doesn't do it justice. I'm still sweating. It's gross. I feel gross. I'm so like, my anxiety is like through the roof. Through the roof. Okay. There we go. So yeah, I'm going to die cut these twice. And then what I want to do is take, yeah. Okay. Okay. Like I said, we're going on the fly. I want to die cut. So I just need like that. Gonna die cut the flowers because I'm gonna cut those out separately is what I'm gonna do. So when things are connected like this, just depending on what die set I'm using, and I keep every little scrap as I showed on that little, on my little bin, etc. I keep scraps of everything, especially my specialty cardstock. But I also I keep scraps of all cardstock because I always end up die cutting it. You know, it doesn't pile up or anything like that for me. I use it. I use it. Okay, so we're gonna die cut that. Oh, and I want to die cut the sentiment one more time from white cardstock. Doobly doo. This is one that I like have to cut into a full sheet because my white cardstock, I use up every single scrap of that faster than everything else combined. So that one. And then I need some vellum. Do I have a scrap left of vellum or did I use it all up? Oh, no, that one's thinner. There we go. Where's the outline? Okay. Yes, you get to see it live. Hello, hello. Okay. Simon's vellum, also one of my most used. It's fabulous. Love this stuff. It makes an appearance in almost all of my videos because it is so good. Okay. So I've got my outline, my word, dirtily. Do I want to die cut? I kind of do. Where? Again, you guys, this is how it usually is for me. I need. Oh, I have the flower centers already from a previous, don't I? Or do I have? No, I don't. I lied. Okay. See, this is where I'll use little itty bitty scraps. So I got my little flowers. We'll die cut those from the pink. And then the flower centers, if I move that over, the flower centers are attached, but if I go just like that, and then line that up with this. Oh, and then I messed it up. It should be fine. It should be fine. Okay, and then we'll die cut these. Apologies, everyone. Welcome to the chaos. Okay. There we go. So that'll give me 3 layers for my sentiment. Because sentiments need dimension. As the fabulous Laura Basson says, dimension is life, and she is 100% correct. Okay. I got the tittles. Don't lose the tittles. Free them. You didn't giggle this time. Not this time. Okay. And then I got my little. Oh, I have to do this twice because I am gonna mirror. Well, I might mirror this. I'm not. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Why are we here? What is this? Okay, I die cut those. Okay, I have to do that one more time. I think I know what I'm doing. Hopefully. If not, well, you know, you know. Oh, yeah, no, I messed it up. That's fine. We'll be able to make this work. Hopefully. Hopefully. Hopefully Amy doesn't have a complete meltdown on live. Amy's playing Paper Tetris. Yeah, kind of. Welcome to Paper Tetris. That's yeah. That's what we do. That's what we do. I do that in like really playing Tetris is just all the time. Making all the groceries fit in the trunk of the vehicle.
Sometimes you have to twist the kids into like weird tetramino
Oh
shapes.
yeah. Yeah,
Just to
you
shove them in there.
twist the kids. Yeah. No, that is one thing I'm very good at. I like playing the actual game of Tetris, but that is one thing I don't play against Chris because the game he's great at. Real life Tetris of organizing things, that's my forte, and he is not good at it. Just so we're clear. Okay.
Good at digital organizing.
Yeah, you're good at digital stuff. So I've got my pieces. I've got the flowers. I'll just do the centers. Oh no, I think I had a little. Yeah, I did. Let's see if I can do this again. Regardless, even if I only end up with a couple, it's fine. If we go like that, that should work. It should work. We'll see. We'll see. Spellbinders has wonderful glitter and specialty papers. Yes, they do. Um, yeah, they have really nice cardstock. And I've got same multi packs because Simon's Stamp started carrying it, and then I think they also got in like the full packs of individual colors, which I have been looking at, and I'm like, want, beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Oh, there we go. So I've got some little flowers. I've got. I'll probably put gems in the flower centers anyway. So I've got flowers. And then there's a bird around here somewhere. Actually, more than one bird because we're going to put a bird on it. Let me. I am literally needing a bigger boat here.
Yep.
Okay. Don't need that. That one's used up. That one's fine. I've got pieces and dies everywhere. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's just set all the dies in a tray so that I can deal with them later. So I use that one and that one and that one. And then those are the colors I didn't use that I was going to use, and I got distracted. What else is new? What else is new? Are we surprised? Shouldn't be. There they are. This is not part of the newer release. That cute little bird that I used in last week's live, the little chubby one, he's currently sold out because I was going to use him again, but he's currently out of stock. They'll restock him really quick. But this one came out a couple years ago, I think, and I've used it in several videos. They're just cute. So, yeah, we are going to die cut these. Should I just do it from I was gonna use Desert Storm. Yeah. Let's die cut them from Desert Storm, and then we'll just add color with ink to make them cute, you know? So we've got those and that. And then I want to do, where are those little floral bits? There we go. I think I'm going to mix it up a bit. So we're going to take that with the orange. And then this one, we can add a few little blue flowers to this because I think that'll look cute. Maybe. We shall see. We shall see. So we're going to take this and die cut these layers. These birds are cute, and they're not. They're just a nice little size, but they're not tiny. You know, it's always nice to have variety. And I like that you have them, they have them so that you've got them, you can have them like facing each other, you know, because depending on the scene I'm creating, sometimes I was like, oh, that bird won't work. It's facing the wrong direction. Okay. All of these pieces. Oh, I don't want to lose any of them. Let's just kind of set them like that for the moment. In fact, I'm just going to be there instead of popping them out. We'll get to them in a second. I want to get all these other little bits dealt with first. So we're going to do that. We'll do one more pass with this one. Like that. And then we got some pretty Audrey blue flowers. That's one of my favorite colors from Simon Says Stamp. 1, 2, 3. Let's do one more. Okay. You made it. Hooray. Again, you guys, welcome to the chaos. Welcome to the chaos. Where? Okay. And this one, see, this is also why I keep all the little itty bitty scraps, because I can use this little tiny piece. There it is. I was like, I already lost it. I can use this little tiny piece. Like that. To get both of my little bits. Little bits. Okay. Yep. And then we've got a disaster to clean up on top of it. I've got like literal piles of everything. Oh my goodness. Okay. That. And yeah, the patented Kathy Zielski throw your die on your desk to pop the cardstock out technique. Oh, that one worked. Always be careful with that because I've done that, flung my die, and it went boing behind me, landed on the floor, and then I was literally crawling around on the floor for 20 minutes trying to find the errant wafer die that just up and disappeared. Okay. Those are all our die cut bits. Everything else for the moment we will come back to. Don't lose the bird. The mint cardstock will come back to that as well because we're going to emboss that. So I has a literal pile of die cuts. And then what I want to do is add a bit of dimension to them to give them a little more depth. And the easiest way to do that, if I can find, there it is adding some ink. So that's what we're going to do. And where did I put? Right there. So we're going to use some Pawsitively saturated inks. We'll probably use those two for that. We'll use that one for that. And then for that, we'll add some watermelon, I think would look really pretty. And then we'll add a bit of that one. And probably that one. It's got that. Oh, and then, yeah, we'll start with that. Because now it's full. So we've got that. We've got blending brushes. That one and that one. And this one. So yeah. Do you have to ink blend your cardstock if you're using color cardstock? No. But if you want to, it adds some depth. But there's also nothing wrong with just just solid color cardstock. And again, speaking of like Laura Basson, that's where like she shines, is just taking solid color cardstock and die cutting it and you know, doing whatever element she does, and she doesn't add ink to it, and it looks so good. Like her projects never look flat at all. Okay, we're gonna add field ink. I've got my ink stand here that Brienne is now doing in black, which is kind of fabulous. I have like all my like white ones, which I'm not going to change over. They're fine. But what I liked about this one, and that's why I got it, is it holds like 6. I was like, nice. So, yeah, cannot go wrong with that. And all I'm doing is blending on the ink, and I'm not worried about like trying to get it perfect. One, as always, perfection's overrated, but also these inks do soften and dry back a bit. And then the other thing to remember, which I've said this before, it doesn't matter whether it's inks or if you're using markers or just anything on top of a cardstock that isn't white, is you always want to let it dry before evaluating. Like if you're not sure, you know, like if I was going in with a much lighter green, it would look, you know, it would show up while the ink is still wet, but there's a good chance that when the ink fully dries, you might not see it at all. So you always got to keep that in the back of your mind when you're adding either ink or markers or just anything to cardstock that is anything other than white, is that when it's still wet, it'll look one way. And then when it fully dries, it might look completely different, or it might look completely just fade into nothing. So, because while the ink is still wet, it's just darkening the cardstock. So that was field. And then we'll add just a smidge of, oh no, Michelle, that's not good at all. That is not good at all. Always try to keep liquids and things. People freaked out years ago. I had posted an image online of I had like a big drink of like water or something, I think, beside my laptop. I was working on whatever, and I had so many people just, they were like, "You're giving me anxiety," rah, you know, which understandably so. But I was like, I only had it there like while I took the picture, and then I immediately like moved it away. You know, I try to keep all like my jar of forbidden water, aka the watercolor jar, I keep it like away from my elbows, you know, because
You only make that mistake once.
yep. And I've done it. And that's also why I keep like my drinking cup is something with like a good lid on it. And same thing, I keep it like away from the elbows because I have knocked over, you know, like while I'm working on a project, knocked over my drink and just, you know, it is only paper. It's not the end of the world, but it's like when you're one, it's my job, but also you've been working on a project for however long and done all the ink blending and coloring, and then you spill something on it. And it's like, no, no, no. Okay. So we did that one. So those will just have that extra little bit of depth. And then, my IT guy calls it Pepsi synopsis. Yeah, you just electronics and liquid, as Kathy Zielski and a lot of us have all attested to. It's just not. They don't play well together at all. Okay. So I just have like a microfiber cloth. Buff that off. And then for these little branches, which I'm not even sure 100% if I'm going to use them, but if I don't use them on this project, I'll use them on a future project because I like this little die set. And do. There we go. Add that. And then let's take that little bit. So this will dry back a bit. That one we're only going to use like the one shade on, and I may snip this guy apart because he is kind of big. We'll see. Once we get to assembly, like, you know, then I can assess. Because as of right now, everything is just a random jumble of thoughts in my head, which is not always a good thing. Okay, so that was that one. And then for the florals of this, let's move the green out of the way. I'm taking, so this was honey cardstock and creamsicle. And I have a couple extra pieces that I don't need because my plan was to do, yeah, that. And then just make sure I've got my pieces, which I do. Yes, yes. Okay, so for that, I'm going to use watermelon. And we'll add just like that. And we're going to kind of blend this up. And this is definitely one way, especially when you're using a very different color than the cardstock. So then we just let it dry. It's going to give it kind of a almost peachy. We're not kind of going for peachy, but I really like how the more reddish shades of the inks look on this honey cardstock. So very light hand. And then I was just like, oh, let's add it to the creamsicle cardstock as well. Keeping it like darker at the base, and then this is something that's hard to show online, but keeping it darker at the base, and then without like re-inking the brush, like tapping it in anything, and then I'm barely touching. I'm just really lightly blending it along the top there, just to give it that little something something. There we go. I believe I've heard you say you never clean your blending brushes. Correct. So you only buff them off. Correct. I do not clean my brush. We've had many discussions about the blending brushes and the cleaning of them, and me, like, I literally have never done it. I just don't. I tried it once years ago with not these ones. Like, I had some of those really cheap blending brushes that the really cheap like makeup style ones that some people still insist are great, which and I genuinely say this, like, I had them and they were awful. There was something about those brushes that, like, they went hard, like literally crusty. And again, I use my brushes a lot, you know, because like I can understand if they sit for maybe just someone quits card making for a year or something and everything's just sitting. I can understand that. But yeah, those ones went like hard as a rock. And then I tried washing them and and then they were like, they were scratchy. Like and then, yeah, Simon came out with these ones, and these have been great. And I haven't washed them. I have multiple sets of these in both sizes and the little ones. And yeah, like I have a set for oxide inks, and then I've got these ones, and then I have a third set that I keep for just distress inks. Do you need that? No. And yeah, they work fine. They work fine. And I just buff them off on a microfiber cloth. And then when it gets really, 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 when this cloth gets really gunked up, like I have multiples, I keep all my towels separate or like my crafting towels separate because I won't wash them with the regular laundry because I do not want them to get gross, So then I just wash them and we're good to go. What color again is a green cardstock? The darker green was leaf green. I didn't search through the links, go scroll down, put Simon Apple. Last one. Yeah. So yeah, this one was leaf green. Here, I have full sheets. Or like bigger pieces. That's Simon's leaf green. This one is Simon's apple green two of my most used. I literally have like an inch high, well, not quite. I have a lot of those two. Those are my most used greens for like just basic everything. I want to grab something else. I want you go on Simon's website because it go on the website. Yeah. Where are you going? Where are you going? And then type in Simon blending brushes. Because these ones have a different like name to them, and sometimes they don't like to pop up in the links. Scroll down. Scroll. It's the ones that look like this, not the thin, narrow ones. The little round ones. There's
The detailed round blending brushes.
does it say detail round?
Yeah.
Those are the ones. Okay. Again, you guys. I rub mine on a flour sack towel to get some of the color out. Otherwise, never clean. Yeah, same sort of thing. I have my flour sack cloth. I like that as well. I like the microfiber, but I know microfiber cloths are not for everyone. A lot of people don't like the feeling of it, and I understand that. I get it. But I really like them, for just buffing out my brushes. It just works, and then I find a clean spot, use it, and I just keep doing that until this thing will be completely full of ink. And then, I picked one up. And then I go into another one. And I keep a separate one. I've shown this in videos. These are the Simon Says stamp ones, which are black. These ones I keep just for like buffing away anti-static powder, stuff like that. And I use it just for this. I don't get ink in it because I want to keep it like so I don't get ink and mess things up. I thought makes sense. There's a method to the madness. I know, like the depth. See, this is like, so this was what the cardstock looked like. That's the honey cardstock. And then just blending some watermelon ink. This is what I mean about just, you don't need all the things. You don't need even all the colors. I say that as someone who does. I need all the things. I need all the colors. But how you can take just an ink and the color you have, cardstock, and change it, alter it a bit. So I pulled out these little baby blending brushes so that I can just kind of keep this more to like the centers of these little flowers, just to build up a little bit of depth on these little guys. And then I love they don't need to be cleaned all the time. Well, yeah. And when it comes specifically with blending brushes, regardless of the type you have, because I only kind of rail against that because some people are like, it's just a ripoff. Like they just take the cheap ones and put their name on it. No, that's not what they did. But when you use them consistently, there is a lot of ink builds up in them. Like especially my bigger ones, like there's a lot of ink in there. But so washing them is time consuming. That's also why I just haven't done it. It's time consuming. It takes a while. If you're absolutely determined to wash your brushes, one, use warm water, not hot, warm to cool. You don't want to use hot water because again, all these bristles are glued into the base. So you don't want to use like hot water. I don't recommend using alcohol. Alcohol will strip the color, but alcohol can also strip the adhesive. If you did something like sprayed a cloth or paper with some alcohol, like sprayed it and then that, totally fine. It would probably be fine. But yeah, so you'd wash it. You could use a gentle soap, like some gentle dish soap. That'd be fine. That would help like take out the ink buildup. And then you need to like balance them so that they're face down to let them dry. And that's another reason why I have just never bothered to wash them because they can take days to dry. Because these are really tightly packed bristles and I just can't be bothered, But I find just rubbing them on the cloth, the only times I get particular is if, I'm using, say, this one and I want to use like a really, really pale color, like a really light pink. What I do is just really really good. And then I have a scrap of like white paper. I've shown this in videos. I'll have a scrap of white paper and so right now for like, see, there's still a bit of ink coming off of here. So I'll do that. And then I'll tap it in my really light color and I'll go like this because that will still reactivate what's in there. And I'll just kind of swipe it on the scrap until I get it to the color one. And then I go on because I ain't going to wash it. I'm not going to wash my brushes. I will find little ways around it. Okay, we're going to use Rose. I found out microfiber towels shouldn't go in the dry. True, they're not supposed to. I think you're supposed to like hang them to dry. Honestly, I just throw mine in the dryer. I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered, okay? But yeah. Yeah. I just keep all the things along with my flour sack cloths. I even have some like cotton tea towels that I also use to wipe brushes and things off on. And yeah, I just keep a separate little stash of all of that. And then once I have a pile of it, I just do a load of my craft towels so that none of that stuff is touching our regular laundry because I'd end up. But that's also why I don't wear white. And I encourage, like, I pretty much don't allow anyone in this house. Like, I don't think any of us owns anything white.
I have one white T-shirt. That's it.
Yeah, but that thing's like a raggedy T-shirt. Like, it's not one you would wear out in public anyway. I know which one you're talking about. And that thing's like old and wrinkly and stretched out and just gross. Yeah, we don't, in this household, we don't wear white because I am a slob and clumsy. And do I separate laundry and, like wash just your whites and your darks and dirt? No. Everything gets thrown in. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Anyway, that was the ink blending. Do I want to do all these little doobly-doos? Not really. Not really. No. Okay, let's just assemble. Let's assemble, and then we'll go from there. So we have... Where am I? No, there's just the two. I was like, where's the rest? That's it. Durr. Okay. I heard the brushes with ink on them are well seasoned and help with the blending better. Kind of. Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. Because and I can't show it with these because all my brushes are well seasoned. But yes, when a brush is brand new, it's brand new. It's never touched ink. It's all clean. Yeah, I would recommend, like, just let's pretend this is brand new. It's white. It's pristine. I would, tap it in your ink and then tap it in the lid or tap it off on a scrap or your work surface or whatever when it's brand new and just kind of not necessarily load up the brush, but just tap it off a bit. Because again, it's brand new, so that ink is just like sitting there, and then start maybe off your project, especially if you're aiming for a soft blend. But yes, when they're brand new and it's the first bit of ink, if you get in the habit of just do, and then, tapping it in the lid, that also helps even when they're seasoned. Because if you're going in solid and you've got ink just like it's sitting on the very tips of those bristles. And then you go like this, sometimes you'll just end up with like a splotch. But that's also why I like these inks. Inks have changed a lot over the years, like from what we used to have. The Simon I've talked about this a lot. The Simon Pawsitively Saturated inks, Concord 9th inks, and Altenew Fresh Dye inks. Those are the three I can talk about because I have them and I've used them and compared them. There's other ones out there. They're also fabulous and probably similar formulas. But yeah, these inks, like they soften as they dry. They kind of smooth out. Like even you can kind of see it now if I'd had it still wet. Like how this is dried. When it was still wet, it looked a little more streaky, but it softens, And yeah, they smooth out and they soften a bit and it's so much nicer. We've got it so much better than we did in the beginning. We really do. Okay, I need to cut off the bottom little bits because these are going to get adhered on top. So super simple. Joy, you didn't miss anything. I am just kind of rambling and this is chaotic. Okay. I think I've kept up with everything. Yes. So we're just going to layer these together with liquid glue. And let's put this guy where I can reach him. And then they just get layered right like that. So we've got that one. Still have some ink. There we go. Okay, so we got that one. This one I don't need to cut anything off. And then I'm just using the Positively Perfect craft glue. Because that stuff, I've been super happy with it. We've had many discussions about it. And then a lot of people were asking if I was going to use it with the glue press. And so I finally put it in my bottle with the really fine tip. It's been great. It's been great. I've been super happy with it. Okay. And then the second layer, which just gives this that little extra something. There we go. I'm heavy-handed. It's hard for me to do delicate blending stuff when I'm practicing. Oh yes, it does take practice. And yes, as a fellow heavy-handed person, 100%, it's hard. It's kind of the same along the same vein as the people that do clean and simple card making. You know, I love it. I think it's cute. I think it's fabulous. It definitely is a big exercise in patience and, yeah, learning to have a light hand with things, which I don't do well with. But yeah. And yeah, that really light, soft blending, it's hard because I'm always like, let's throw on more. And then add 4 layers of splatter to it. Okay, that was that one. There we go. Yeah, this glue is good. It's good. Like, I never thought I would like another glue as much as I liked my craft tacky glue. But yeah, I've been really impressed with this stuff. There we go. And as always, you don't need much glue. Especially when you're dealing with liquid glue and we're paper, you know? None of it, like you don't need a lot. You don't need to glop it on. You know, you don't need just big blobs of glue. Less is more. That is one thing I am. And that is a hard. It looks like I'm applying like a lot of glue, but I'm not. I'm not. You don't want it oozing out everywhere, and also you don't need a ton of it. You'll notice it more because I've had people over the years mention. Let's adhere some little flower centers, because they're like, I can see it through my cardstock, or my cardstock is like rippling. One, if it's thinner cardstock, that can happen. You know, because you're adding liquid glue onto it, and then the cardstock's absorbing that, and it's starting to buckle and curl, or you can see the glue. That happens a lot with lighter weight and certain glues, because certain glues can be just have a really high water content. Yeah, but heavyweight cardstocks, and that's basically all I really work with. I've never had an issue, but I also just don't use a lot of glue. I didn't need to add flower centers to every single one. I'm not gonna. Well, we'll put a couple on the inside. Who am I kidding? You know. There we go. But yeah, you just when you're working with liquid glue, you just don't need a ton of it. You really don't. There we go. There we go. Okay. Yes, I'm still here. Yeah, I don't. My lives are always a little bit longer. It's actually rare if I get them in and out. Sometimes I do a short live just because life and circumstances. But Yeah. Yeah. If people expect me to just be done already, sorry. It's not our work. And then today, yes, we started just a few minutes late. I didn't have anything prepped ahead of time. And it just is what it is. Okay. I'll add that one. And then we'll just set that aside. If I end up deciding to use it, I'll die cut one more little flower center and we'll go from there. So there's all our got our little flowers. Oh, and we got it because I'll do that after. We got to do our little bird. We got to add some colors to our. Ooh, I'm losing pieces. Okay, so there we go. Okay, I want to use because these guys make this one wafer die makes 4 birds, but I only want a couple. A couple. We're gonna figure. We got all these little pieces. And then this one goes, okay. This one goes with, that goes with that one. I need to, there's one. That one goes with that one. And where's my little pokey bit? I lost it.
Uh-oh.
Why not? There it is. Okay, found him. We're good. Okay. So that one goes with that one. So just looking at the packaging and it's like, okay, that piece goes with that piece. That piece goes with that piece. This piece is, oh, probably that. Yes. And we got 2 other little wing spots stuck in here. That one will go with that. Yep. This one fits in because the curve, yep, perfect. Okay. Or it could be that, but that doesn't matter. So there's actually a bonus one in that one. And then for their little heads, it's like that, 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 and that. Okay. Don't need that piece. So we got all our little pieces. And this one just butts up against. Yes. Okay. So there's him. Let's do this one. And this one. Again, doesn't really matter. I'll save these guys for a future project. Because we only need a couple. Okay. There we go. And yes. Oh, that piece. Oh, that goes with him. Okay. What colors do we need for this guy? I'm gonna do let's do honey. We'll add a little bit of yellow. Again, and this is where what I was saying about adding ink to anything other than white. Now we're gonna add it to craft. We'll use a little bit of the watermelon. We'll use honey. Let's add a couple of browns. There we go. There we go. We'll keep them simple. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. Okay. So we got cappuccino, mocha, watermelon, and honey. Here we go. I seem to collect bird dyes. I know, right? I mentioned this years ago. I forget when, but it was years ago. I avoided bird themed anything. I don't know why. Part of it I think was just for some reason I had a weird hang up over it because it's like I don't know anything about birds. Like I don't know. I was overthinking it and getting myself completely overwhelmed at the concept of like birds because it's like, there's all so many different types. I'm like, what if I don't do it accurately? It was fine. And it's funny because I always tell everyone, don't overthink it. Don't worry about it. Who cares? It's paper. It's paper. So yeah, I avoided using anything bird themed for a really long time. And then I finally decided to put a bird on it, and my life was forever better and changed. And now I slap them on, and I don't care. I don't care how they're supposed to look. They're they're birds, like made out of paper. Who cares? Who cares? Okay, we're gonna do the watermelon for this piece. And this is where the like stylus end of my whatever positive, no, I forget what this was, a place and score embellishment one. I think that's what this one, yeah, place and score embellishment one, because Simon Says Stamp has two different ones. This one has a stylus end, and it comes in handy. You can just hold the, when you're dealing with little tiny die cuts, you can just hold them in place. I'm not worried about the little eye parts. We're going to adhere little gems or something when these are done, because I'm just not bothering. Anyway, we'll do that piece. Oh, and we'll do these two little pieces. Yeah, to hold them in place so you don't get your fingers in the way, especially when you're dealing with little tiny baby pieces. Like that. There we go. So that was the watermelon shade over the Desert Storm. So here's an idea, like that was watermelon over creamsicle and then the honey, and how it just looks, because it depends on the base of cardstock you're applying ink to. Okay. The blue would look, yeah, the blue would look nice too. They all would. So many options. We'll do that one. And then I probably won't use, I think we'll just use the cappuccino. I don't need the mocha. Let me grab a brown brush. Okay. Doop doop. And then we'll add the cappuccino ink to this one and then to this one. We could mix it up and do like, each one could be totally different colors, but let's just keep it simple. Let's just keep it simple. Yes. Okay. And then move that out of the way. Wipe that up. Boop, boop. And then as a last little thinger, just grab a random marker that's sort of orange shaded, and we'll just go right on their little beaks. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. And that was just YR27. Any sort of orangish shade works. And then, of course, we're going to add all of their little pieces now and adhere them together. So reverse tweezers for the win. And everything just kind of fits. There we go. Fits the shape of everything, so it all just lines up. I like that, because then I don't have to think. Thinking is definitely overrated. Okay. It's got that one. And then we've got his little wing. Love it. And then the evil splatter lady would be here to correct you about the birds if she. Yeah, that's part of it. Sometimes it's like I'll get hung up on something and avoid using it or discussing it because I just know that someone's going to cause trouble over whatever the thing is. But that's also something that I've had to tell myself. It's like, okay, get over yourself. Like, if someone wants to come and cause trouble and get really upset, it's like, that's not how birds look in real life. Like this certain species. Okay. Okay. You know, like, it's paper. It's just paper. See, they just come together and they're so cute. They're so cute. Here we go. There we go. Come on. There we go. And then there we go. There we go. So we got our little birdies. We'll add the eyes later. We'll add them later. We're not gonna burp, burp, burp. So just simple and cute. Okay. Before I assemble my sentiment, we need to do the background because we'll add a bit of splatter, you know? So what I need to do, I literally, where am I? What am I doing with my life? Okay. Mint cardstock. And yes, artistic license. It's a thing. And that's kind of the whole point. Okay, we're gonna cut this sheet in half. There we go. So, mint cardstock. And then, which I think this was the embossing folder I used on last week's live. Ha! But I wanted to use it again because I like it. This is the mid-century Ethereal embossing folder. Love it. Love it. So we're gonna run this through with this embossing folder to give it this pattern. And I do have, there we go. Ha! So with the Anna Griffin Empress and Simon Says Stamps 3D embossing folders, because like I've said a million times, when it comes to embossing folders, there's no set metric. I assume as well that there's probably many different like actual manufacturers of them. So they vary. So the actual thickness of the folder varies. Different brands have different types of folders. So the sandwiches for our die cut machines vary, and most brands have it listed, like what machines are compatible with, what sandwiches, yada, yada, yada. So for my Anna Griffin Empress machine and Simon's 3D embossing folders, one cutting plate in the folder. If that doesn't give you a good impression, you could add either the metal shim with the Empress or a cardstock shim and run that through. But again, always make sure to never force it through your die cut machine. Because regardless of the brand of die cut machine, you don't want to force anything because you do not want to break your machine. That would suck. So we've got that. There we go. So we've got that. And then I want to cut this down a little bit. So I started with A2 size. It is, let's see. This one actually stays pretty close, somewhat. It shifts it a bit when you run it through. So if you want things, and I've talked about this, if you want it to remain A2 size, regardless of what embossing folder you're using, I recommend cutting your cardstock a little bit bigger, running it through, and then trimming it to the exact size you want, because it does shift, you know, because the cardstock's being pressed, you know, up and down and all around and whatever. So even this one, it's no longer like, you can't really tell, but like areas are no longer, like the side is no longer straight because it's been, you know, pushed and all the things. So I just choose a side. I was going to trim this down anyway. That's why I didn't worry about it being manipulated. So we're just going to trim it down to 5 1/4 by 4 inches. Just slightly smaller than what my card base will be. So we've got that. And then, do I want to add the elements and then add this? Yeah, I do. I was going to splatter and then adhere the bits. But I think we'll adhere the bits except for the sentiment. Yeah, because the sentiment's going to go there. So we need to kind of figure out how we're going to do this, because this was kind of, I was kind of sort of mirroring it, but offsetting because of the sentiment. We're going to have it like that. There's all these little fabulous leafy bits. I think those two are the same. Yeah. So if we have that there, if we go like that, and there's that one, and that one. Everything's going to look like a hot mess for a second here because I am just trying to figure out what I'm doing with my life. No idea. No idea. So do that. And then I think I'm going to snip that because I can use the other piece on the inside. So we do that. And this. Because then we can kind of tuck these guys in. This should work. It should work. We're just gonna see. Black splatter on the bottom, then white on top of everything. Yeah, why not? Okay. You twisted my rubber arm. And just like forcing me to do that. Why not? Why not? Let me get stuff out of the way here so that we can actually... I'm losing my mind. You guys, I'm sweating. Okay. Those guys out of the way. Oh, I didn't even put this away. Ha! That can just sit there because I can put my spell box right on top of it. Okay. Let's... Oh, man. Just... Okay. Whew. Oh. You know. Okay. Let's add some splatter. Black wash. Just a smidge. Do not need much at all. There we go. I was expecting you to say no. Honestly, and I've mentioned this before. I say it jokingly, but it's also true. I don't... Part of it is just, and I say this not as in like, this is just how I am. But like when people give advice or say, you know, in the chat or whether it's like face to face, this is very immature of me. It is very immature of me. My immediate knee-jerk gut reaction is to do the absolute opposite. Even if it's well-meaning and it's, you know, like Chris could look at me and be like, you should eat some vegetables today. My immediate, and he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't say it like that, but it's like, my immediate knee-jerk reaction would be, I'm going to eat a case of chocolate bars. Try me, you know. So, yeah. But yeah, so when people are in the chat and they're like, you should do this or you should do this, it's just like and I have to like stop myself and be like, oh my God, like stop being such a jerk. And I'm saying that about myself, not about you guys. It's like, good Lord, woman, you can listen to other people. So yes. And sometimes although other times I will have a very, like, if I've got like I'm on my path and I'm just like doing my thing and it's just like, no, I got other ideas or whatever, you know? So but yeah, when you're saying like, add some extra splatter, you're already on my crazy train. You know where this is going. So black wash, I watered it down. Woo-hoo. We won't add a ton. Just a bit. For me, that's a bit. Okay. Wash it off in my filthy watercolor jar that I need to change again because I'll show in a second. It's looking like sludge. The unpaid intern's going to want to taste it again. Don't do it. Don't drink the watercolor water. It's gross. This is the watercolor water. Literally a jar of sludge. And I keep it off kind of almost behind things so that I cannot knock it over because, oh, that would be devastating. It would be devastating. Anyway, chocolate does be different. It does. Chocolate is its own food group, and I, no matter what, cannot stop me. I have a sweet tooth like nobody's business. Okay. So anyway, that's just a little bit about me and my personality. And again, it's not something I'm proud of. It's not. I am stubborn to a fault. Okay. So we got a bit of splatter. Oh, I got it all over me. Who cares? I got a bit of splatter. We're going to let that dry while I work on, I'll stack the sentiment because then we can't, I don't want to adhere on top of it until it's dry. Make sure this is dry enough, whatever. Okay. Let's quickly stack. Do I want to, this one is wider. Just let me think for half a second. Oh, okay. Yeah, since we're going to go over vellum, we're only going to do one layer. This will make sense in a second. Some of you know exactly what this method of madness is. So one layer of cardstock, and then my topper, which is that white glitter. Just like so. Stack those together because that gives it just dimension. We'll save that one in a second. And then we've got the S. Boop. If you don't ask for an opinion, folks, we've got, it varies, you know, it really does vary. And yeah, because it depends on the situation and all the things. As a content creator, you know, when I'm on the internet, I get more unsolicited advice on so many fronts. So many friends about so many things, not just card making, you know, and sometimes it's just like, but I always have to remind myself that, especially in this space, because I've talked about this when it comes to the card making community, the vast majority of people in card making are pretty darn awesome. And I'm talking about like you guys, the audience, you know, there's those few, there's those very few that like to be ornery, but most people are coming from a good place. And sometimes I have to remind myself of that when my knee-jerk stubborn reaction, or I'm just like immediately offended at somebody over whatever it is that's being said. Sometimes I got to be like, this person's probably coming from a good place, and you know, either they didn't mean it that way, or you know, yeah. Because again, this can vary. I'm just trying not to be like specific to, because I don't want to like certain things. Yeah, I'll call them out, but yeah, there we go. So IL, there's the Y. So then we just got to do the I. I can't imagine you saying no to splatter. There have been times where I've seen in the chat and there have been other recommendations and I just ignore it and go on about my thing. But that's usually because it's like, I already did 3 types, you know, and sometimes it's fun, you know, more often than not, like I've kind of said throughout this, if I've got like a plan in mind, it's a little different. But like one like this where I'm kind of flying, I'm doing that separately, flying by the seat of my pants. Yeah. It's just trying to be a little less, on my part, trying to be a little less stubborn. And while the unpaid intern is staying very quiet, I know in his head he's thinking, yeah, good luck with that. He knows. He gets to put up with me. I am stubborn. Okay. Adhering it to my vellum outline. Oh, it's all good, Leah. Yeah. No, I try to let people know, you know, because yes, while I'm, you know, sitting here live and all the things and trying to be professional, and I say that literally with air quotes because you guys know I'm a professional. I am, you know. But yeah, sometimes I can be a jerk. There, I said it, you know. I am, and I'm not proud of it. I'm not saying that like because that is one of my absolute most hated like quotes, you know, that some people like to use. It's like, oh, if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. And it's like, you're just trying to excuse you being like a complete and total a-hole. Like, no, that's not how it works. So yeah, when I say I'm a jerk, it's like, oh, if people can't handle me at my stubbornness and rudeness and everything else, it's like, no, those are not personality traits to be proud of. Am I making any sense? Am I rambling? Probably. This whole thing's been a ramble. Okay. You think out loud and we're listening, our reaction is terrible. Yeah, I do think out loud. I put my foot, and that's also why I sweat sometimes. Like, I'm sweating during the lives. Like, I sweat because I'm just like worried that I am going to open my big mouth and, you know, say something extremely inappropriate and get myself like fully canceled, lose my job. Okay, I lost another tool again. There it is. Okay. So when you're dealing with the tittles, free the tittle. Ha, got you this time. Mm-hmm. Adhering it rather than stacking them. And I know this seems so like obvious now. I don't even want to admit, I don't even know how many years I went trying to stack, you know, little tiny tittles, little die cuts, you know, adhere them together, the layers, and then transfer them to my project. I forget what maker it was. I honestly don't. This was many years ago. But I watched them like do something like this. And it's like, and then they stacked it directly onto either the outline or their card. And I literally sat there like mind blown, you know, fully. I was like, I wasted how much of my time? And you can still see it on some of my like way old videos from many years ago, me sitting there with these teeny little die cuts. Like, why did I do that to myself? Okay. So that was 2 layers. The third layer, I'm going to adhere to the back because this, you can't see it in this video. Liquid glue shows through vellum. What I was talking about earlier about using liquid glue and cardstock, liquid glue and vellum is just a beast because vellum is its own sort of thing. And so what I generally, again, and this was again something I picked up from another maker, because I used to do this and then I would just add glue very carefully, you know, behind the cardstock to hide it. But it's so much easier to have a separate just die cut layer, you know, if it's individual like this, and adhere it to the back. And then I can put glue behind the cardstock. Nothing's going to seep out. You're not going to see it on the vellum. Plus, it bumps up the vellum just that little smidge, you know, from this cardstock layer, and it makes it float. If you want the effect to be, you know, more floatiness, you could die cut more than 1 layer to stick behind it. But I only do 1 because it's like we're not gonna sit here and stack like a bunch of layers. But yeah, this just makes it easier. And again, with one like this, it's not as necessary, you know, because we've got enough wide areas to hide glue behind that it's not a big deal. But this really comes in handy when you're dealing with the types of sentiments that are like a script font or very thin, you know, and you don't want that glue oozing out because, and again, I've got old videos that show that, you know, me very carefully like tracing behind the vellum with my glue. And it's like, this is 5,000 times easier. And it never occurred to me. So yeah, I may be a professional and I do this for a living, but I'm not even that smart. Other people come up with all the smart ideas. Every once in a while I'll come up with something cool, but not very often. Which is what it is. Like, I'm fine with it. I'm glad there's other makers out there that are smarter than I am. There we go. So yeah. So now I've got my sentiment and it's glittery and it's got its little vellum outline and then it's got the layer on the back. So then this will be easy to just stick right on there. And I've got like gouache all over me, which is also just whatever. Okay. Splatter is dry enough, or mostly dry, so now we can just start adhering. Oh, I also need to, this should be fine. Oh yeah, it'll hide it. Okay. I was like, ooh, we might see like weird bits. We don't want that. But again, we could also just add a little die cut or something if we need to conceal something. Okay, so we'll stick this little leaf piece. I've followed you for years. I've never heard you say anything I thought was malicious or meant to hurt someone else. Oh, that, okay. I can be a jerk. I am a jerk, often. However, more so towards just myself, I guess is the easiest way to describe that. But no, I'm not going to sit and like call people names. Certain types of people maybe deserve it. We're not going there in this life. But no, I try very hard not to be like a jerk to other people, you know, or to be like, say someone did come up with like post a suggestion or like, hey, what if you did this sort of thing? I couldn't even imagine myself being like, well, that's a stupid idea. Like that's mean. That's mean, and I would never, and then sometimes when people, ask a question or they have a suggestion and I'll just explain why I wouldn't. It's like, oh no, like if you do this, this could happen, or if you're mixing this product with this, like this could happen. That's why I wouldn't do it. I would just explain it. But it's like it's not stupid. It's not. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, I can be a jerk, but yeah, I try not to be malicious. I try not to be nasty. Okay, let's continue here. How do I want to? Yeah, we're just going to adhere these layers. My tittles go flying all over the place. They are hard to keep in line, you know? They really are. And I'm not really talking about tittles. uh, but yes, they do. The amount of times I have lost them, you've die cut them, and especially, again, little ones for little sentiments. I try really hard to like keep them contained, put them in a little container, a little triangle tray, whatever. Cause yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying, especially if it's like you have them or you lost them and then having to die cut just to get that little itty bitty piece. Been there, done that many times. Yes, I love how you explain why you wouldn't do something. Well, yeah, like because again, I do this as a job. This is my job. As crazy as it is sometimes, this is my job. And while I don't really classify myself as a teacher, in that sense, um, I do try to explain as much as possible, like the XYZs of whatever it is, dye-based inks, or this is the embossing, whatever it is, because the more like knowledge is power, which sounds kind of silly to say that phrase because that is one of my favorite phrases because it's true. Knowledge is power. It seems a little silly with like paper crafting, but the more you know, and because there are times I see it a lot online, there'll be chatter about something and someone's so frustrated because they're like, I did this thing, and they used whatever it was, these certain products, and they ended up with a hot mess, like a disaster, something went wrong, and they're so upset because they put in all this time, and it's like, oh, well, you used this XYZ, but it's meant for this, or like, because I get it, so I try to educate the peoples. And I lost the packaging. I forgot how this. It doesn't really matter. We don't have to follow it exact. I really like how this die set does its things. I was just thinking the same thing. My tittles have a mind of their own. I know. It's true. I hate it when I spill my triangle trays. Yes. All the time. All the time. It happens to me all the time. Doesn't matter. I'm never trying to be malicious, but just very matter of fact. This comes from raising a child on the spectrum. Same. Can't tiptoe around the truth. Yes. One, as someone who's on the spectrum, um, yeah, like that's just always how I've been. I'm a very blunt person. It just makes the most sense to me. And um but also having multiple people, kids on the spectrum, Chris is on the spectrum as well. So we're all in our unique little flavor. And yes, the biggest thing is just being very blunt, to make things as easily understandable as possible. I am not someone who can like dance around the subject at hand or whatever. It's like I say it how it is, and because that just makes the most sense to me. Like, and yeah, I put my foot in my mouth all the time to my own detriment, but that just is what it is. Okay, this is coming together. It's coming together. I like chatting with you guys. Okay, so we got that one. Do I want to add this one? I don't know if I do. I kind of like it. I think we'll save that for the inside, but I will add. Oh, that one's supposed to go there. Never mind. This goes there. And I think that one I do. Yes, this one I want to add. Okay. Being blunt can get you in trouble. Yeah, 100%. I have, and same, I've lost friendships over it because I was just blunt about, if someone would ask, like they would ask me something wanting my opinion and I would give it. It's like, and I would be honest and just blunt about it. And I have lost friendships as a result of that. And I was like, well, but you asked for it, it is what it is. So yeah, I hear you there. I'm not sure what you mean, Susan. Do you think if you added the double adhesive to vellum and emboss, are you meaning something like if I added, how I'm interpreting that is as like if I took a piece of vellum, like a A2 piece, added double-sided adhesive to the back of it, and then embossed it with like a 3D embossing folder? You could try it. I've never done it. It could be interesting to do that because, again, like I said, vellum is finicky. Like vellum is just, it's finicky. And I have tried embossing it, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, because vellum is just, it's its own little beast, and it can crack really easily. So it depends on the folder as well. We'll have to try it. I'm not going to do it today because I'm literally like, this is getting ridiculous and taking forever. But now you have me thinking. Okay. Because we still want to add a few of these little flowers. And then, oh, we're saving one from these. I was going to have both birds sitting here, but I have one more element I'm going to add to this, which will make sense in a second. But yeah, Susan, let me know if that's what you were thinking. I don't have the triangle trays. Do I need them? Oh, I love the triangle trays. I don't have them linked. He can add them in the chat.
Triangle.
Go. Oh, and I used to know the actual. Just go Simon Triangle. The first one.
first.
Yep.
So
Yeah, these little triangle trays,
Yep.
they're handy. Highly recommend them.
Where are the rhombus trays?
Where are the rhombus trays? Anyway, yeah, it's like a set of 4, I think. These are handy. I have them in, but again, no one needs this much embossing powder. These are just Systema. These are sandwich containers. You know, it's big. You see, you don't need this much embossing powder. I just, again, I do this as a job. Over the years, I ended up with so many containers that I was like, screw it. So this is like 4 or 5 containers worth of embossing powder. You don't need this much. Trust me. One container of embossing powder will last you. And I did that for years where I just used my containers as is and like a coffee filter or a folded piece of copy paper to catch the excess. Anyway, that's what I have in my containers, the little triangle trays to pour the embossing powder. Love. And then yeah, for embellishments, because then you can funnel them back into the container. I love my triangle trays. They are handy. And then I use them to hold little random die cuts. This has been sitting on my desk for months. So yeah, I love my triangle trays. I have a ton of them. But again, I do this as a job and also I think they just like reproduce. Because that stack, I swear, just keeps getting bigger. Anyway, back to what I was doing. I got distracted. Squirrel. That's some little flowers. Yep. Okay. This is what we're gonna do, and then this'll all make sense in a second. Okay, Susan. Do you think if you took the seeded belt and embossed it and added to cardstock, will it work? Okay, so yeah, I did kind of run that through mentally. Um, we would have to try it. I'm not sure. I will have to test it. And no promises that it'll be like right away. Um, but yeah. Like I did do a video. It wasn't vellum that I embossed though. It was something else. I think it was it Yupo? I think I'd used like one of the some transparent Yupo because Tim Holtz did it. And I was like mind blown. But it's one of the videos in my Valentine playlist from I think this year. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I did that and then I used my sewing machine though to attach it because again, like anything sort of transparent, you got to be careful how you adhere it. Yeah, you got me thinking. I'm curious. I will have to test that out and see what happens, you know? Yeah, the triangle trays, very handy. Very, very handy. Okay, so I got some little flowers. And then our sentiment, which will just pop into place. Doop, 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 like that. Like that. Okay. Make sure it's straight. And then we're gonna glue him down. Make sure he's in place. Okay, so got that. Do. Like so. And then, so what I want to do, there is a coordinating stamp set for this wafer die. And the outline, we could use the outline. Like I could have stamped and heat embossed this and then die cut it with the outline, but I don't want to do that. And I want to put I'm going to use the Just So You Know little sentiment. I'm just trying to, oh, so then it'll be this bird. This will make, okay. This is going to work, I think. It should. I need a scrap of white cardstock. I has a plan in my head, and it should work. I just need to find a little scrap, a white cardstock, which, like I said earlier, I don't have any scraps left. I've used them all. There we go. Now we got a scrap, and I got schmutz all over me. I got my little sentiment, and we're just gonna stamp this with VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. Just like that. And then I'm going to heat set that because this ink does take a little bit to dry. And I am the worst with this ink, and I manage to smear it no matter what I do. No matter what I do. Okay. So then let me blast it. I got hair everywhere. Okay, let me blast this with my heat tool just to get this dry. Oh, I'll get to the die set in a second. This will make sense in a sec. Okay, dry enough. Okay. This is the Squovals die set. This came out, not the newest release, and I have it linked. It's linked in the description. It came out recently, and I had a lot of people asking about this. I don't even think I've used it yet. But this was the first thing I thought of when I saw it, and then this will come in handy. It's cute. There's so many good examples of it, just using it as like layers and things. I really like it. Anyway, the smallest ones in here, to me, looked like almost like little speech bubbles. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to die cut it with this little Squoval wafer die. Did you add that to the chat?
Which wafer die?
The Squovals.
Squoval?
Squoval.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to die cut it. Just make sure I got that straight.
That doesn't look like a real word at all.
It is a real word. It might not actually be a real word at all. Who knows? But it's an oval with a square edge. Squoval. Whatever. Anyway.
I'm Googling it.
So we got our little die cut. Here we go. Yes, he still managed to, because again, this ink takes a while.
Apparently it's very popular in like nail filing.
Oh yeah, Squoval is a nail shape.
Yeah.
My nails are basically considered Squovals. They're kind of oval, but with a bit more of the square edge. For those that aren't aware, I am. I am a licensed esthetician. I used to own my own salon, all that kind of stuff. I quit that when I ended up knocked up with my fourth kid. But yeah, that it is a nail shape. Squovals.
I know that you're an esthetician because sometimes you take my feet
and sometimes I give Chris
scrape the crap out
pedicures.
of them.
That was one of the ways I made him fall in love with me. Is I gave him a pedicure, and he was just like, "Marry me."
I've never had one before.
And I made him cookies.
I can see why Bernie Mac was all about those foot massages.
Oh heck yeah, yeah! Pedicures are great, and so many men. Every once in a while, a guy would show up in my little salon, and I would do like eyebrow. I'd clean up their eyebrows, like wax their eyebrows. I had some regulars that did that, and they loved it. And I would also wax a lot of backs. So many backs. And it was always those ones, it was the women dragging their husbands in because they were going on vacation.
Of course.
So they were there under extreme protest, and I made some men cry.
Did you make them shine? Like a shoe shine?
Oh yeah, they just, got rid of all that hair. But then pedicures every once in a while. A dude would book a pedicure, and it was just, and sometimes it would be a gift because the women were like, "You're gonna love this," and they'd show up again under protest, and then they would have one, and they're like, "Best thing ever." I'm like, "Yeah, right, I know." Anyway, so we've got a little speech bubble. you know? So I thought, because that's why I wanted to have a little birdie. So it's like, just so you know, I love you. Sometimes I have a good idea, okay? Sometimes my brain is sort of working amongst the sweat and the chaos and the bluntness and the me being a jerk, you know? You know? Okay. Okay. So the little birdie, we're going to pop him up with a couple little, Louise, I'm scared of pedicures. Okay. Real talk. And I've mentioned this because, again, I am a licensed esthetician. I am like fully trained and certified in all the things. When it comes to any beauty, not just pedicures, but pedicures especially, beauty service, research the place you're going to. And when you get there, ask them directly how they clean and sanitize their tools, the space, everything. And if they don't want to tell you, turn around and leave. Seriously. Like, I encouraged all of my clients to, I would show them. I was like, I would literally open up my cupboard and I was like, these are the products I use. Like, I use medical grade disinfectants, everything. I had the health inspector like examine everything. And he's just like, you kind of go overboard. And I'm like, you got to be clean. Because especially pedicures, man, the horror stories I could tell, it's scary. It is scary and it's gross. And you don't mess around with that kind of stuff. So yeah, just make sure the place is clean. You know, they disinfect everything. And yeah. And if they don't want to answer those questions, leave. Leave. Because seriously. Okay, I popped little foam squares on the back of this as well. And then we're gonna pop him in. Oh, I'm gonna stick one more just to balance this out because we're adhering on top of so many die cuts. So this should sort of even that out. Look how cute. So the birdie's like, just so you know. And we'll fix his eye. We'll fix him in a second. Okay, this is working. Love it. It only took me 2 hours. Yeah. But yeah, when you see a short 20-minute video from me, that is a day plus worth of work. Sometimes multiple days, because this is how it is. Okay. So then on the inside of our card, we need another, I want to add another sentiment. In fact, I'll use the big one too. We can kind of layer them up. This will make sense. Is that what I want to do? Yeah, because then I love you so much. So much. I made you this card. And then how do I want to do? I'm just trying to like plan it in my head. Where'd my other bird go? I lost the bird. I lost him. He flew. There he is. Never mind. So we could do that. And then we could do like that. It's gonna be just so cute. Okay, this'll work. So if we take this and then oh yeah. Yep, there are so many horror stories when it comes to aesthetics. Just yeah. Yep. Okay. I need let's use the shade Spring for this. So we'll line that up on the inside of my card, and my card base is A2 size, so 5.5 by 4.25. And you guys know I gotta do something on the inside of my card. Okay. Edited videos are great inspiration, but live show the true work and what you should expect as far as time. Yeah. You know, again, everything within reason. You know? And that's why I do multiple formats. You know, I do my lives. And then I do my edited videos. And then more recently, I've been doing, yeah, it's fine. Here and there, I'll do ones that are filmed like in real time. There's still some editing involved to like splice things together, whatever. But those ones are longer, you know, and I get a little chatty and explain a little bit better. Um, yeah, I like doing all types just because it just, again, it depends on my mood and what I've got on my plate and all the things. And yeah, they each have their own pros and cons. And I know, because I know a lot of people don't like lives, and I get it. I get it. They're not for everyone. Some people just can't be bothered, and that's totally fine. I don't take any of that personally. I'm also not for everyone. My personality is not for everyone.
We need to get up and do a stretch break.
Oh, we probably do. There we go. So then we stamp that with the black. I love you so much. I made you this card. Okay. So then, where? Okay. Put the stamp back in the packaging so that I don't lose it, because that has literally happened on a live. So then I just got to let this like dry, but while it's doing that, we can still add a couple little bits here. Now this guy, I've done it in the past. I think it was like I'm pretty sure it was actually even a Halloween video where I added, it was like a little googly eye on the inside of the card, and I had people like, oh my god, like it's gonna add too much bulk, and I was like, I'm not too worried about it. But what I can do, oh, never mind, I don't even need to, I can just take a little piece of tape, any low tack tape will work, because I still have, I was gonna die cut another piece because I already lost the little die cut eye for that specific one, but they're all the same. So I can take a little, I've shown this before, I just take a low tack piece of tape, I can poke out the little eye piece, so then it's held on there, which, you know, it's tiny, but that's okay. And then I can just take a marker. So take a marker, color it black. There we go. And then I can just take this little guy like that, add the teeniest, littlest bit of glue, and then I can just kind of peel them off carefully from the tape and press them into place. And there we go. He's got his little, so he's finished and doesn't look weird, because now he's good. So how do you keep all those stamps organized? You do so many cards a month. So many, I'm not organized. And again, the unpaid intern can attest to that. I am hot mess central.
Your organizational skills are second to none.
Yeah, I can organize, and I'm good at organizing.
But none is nobody.
Yeah, shut up. You know what? I could fire you.
You could.
I could. Anyway.
I'll get a different...
things are, trust me, my space is a hot mess, you guys. I need to organize. Like, I do pretty good. I can, like, generally find most things. There's a couple things still eluding me. I still have that missing pack of watercolor paper that I haven't found, and it's been, like, what, a year? I don't even know how long. So I'm missing that one pack of watercolor paper. And then I'm missing a stamp and die set. Another oldie but goodie favorite, and I have not been able to find it, and I'm so annoyed. Yeah, we'll just add that right there. So yeah, I'm not organized. I'm flying by the seat of my pants 24/7, and it is literal chaos. I'm not exaggerating ever. What editing program do you use? Oh, he already answered that. Yeah, Final Cut Pro. Thank you. Oh, you're on top of things. I guess maybe I won't fire you.
I'm too valuable.
You're too valuable. Oh my goodness. Okay. So there's our inside. turned out super cute. I'm super happy with it. And then for the card front, I was originally going to pop this up and I had listed it like Big Mama foam tape, but I've got enough dimension going on that I don't feel the need to. So I'm just going to glue this to my card base with the liquid glue, just kind of making sure I'm hitting the high points so that, you know, because the areas that are on this end debossed obviously are not going to touch. So just kind of make sure I hit the high points. And again, I'm not adding that much glue. It looks like a lot of glue. It's not. Like thin amount of glue. And then, oh, I was going to add white splatter and then I forgot. Oh, well. I don't know if I still want to or not. Do I still want to? I kind of do. I knew there was something. That was probably another reason why I was sweating. It's like, you're forgetting! Okay. So yes. Pro tip. Pro tip. I've actually shown this before. You could use scrap. Oh, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to use a scrap. We'll do that one and this one. I'm just going to use, again, a scrap of copy paper. I'm going to die cut them with the outline die and with that tiny Squoval die. And then, I love organization, but then I can't find things. Truth, and I just knock something over. Truth. It's another reason. It's actually true. There have been times where I start organizing, you know, and then I have to do something else and like stop. And then I end up finding that I can't find. I spend so much time looking for things. It's like I had this in my hand. Like the double-sided adhesive I used yesterday. You got the amount of time it took me to find it. It took me forever. And I was like, I remember having this in my hand. Where did I put it? And my brain just spaced out. Anyway, okay. We're going to add some white splatter. And I lost the paper again. Everything's just running away. There we go. Okay. Okay. So we got, and then we've got our little masks because I don't want to get splatter on my sentiment. And I don't really want to get splatter on the die cut sentiment either. So this will just kind of help mask it. It doesn't need to be perfect. There we go. And then in other times I've shown, if it's like a stamped sentiment, like stamped directly onto my background or whatever, and I don't want to get splatter, obviously, over my sentiments, I will use the stamp. Just make sure it's clean. And that works too. Okay, I'm going to use, there it is, the Positively Perfect White Splatter Medium. So I'm going to shake it up really well, make sure it is good and nothing has settled to the bottom. So we'll do that. And then, there we go. Doop. And then I can add a bit of the white. Like that. Yes. Again, subtle, but that's kind of actually what I'm going for. There we go. Okay. So then rinse off my brush. And I'll have to change that water because it is filthy. So filthy. Okay. And then I'm going to be careful. Where's my tweezers? I lost those. Okay. You can usually, I can just leave it to dry, but I need to add, you know, a couple more things to this. So we'll just take that off of there. And I did. I had a big blotch of white. It would have gone right on the sentiment. So that's where the 2 seconds to create a mask comes in handy. There we go. I'll repeat that. Let that dry. These guys I'll just set aside because I'll just save those masks because you never know. They'll come in handy for a future card. So I have those. And then what I need... Yes. Pawsitively... Pawsitively Dazzling Gems in black. The littlest one will work for his little eye. Oh, here, let me zoom in a little bit. I'm like, there we go. There we go. So I'm going to be careful with this because I got to let all that splatter dry. So we're going to add a little blob of glue. And then he's got his little eye. There we go. And then do I want to add a few of these? I kind of do, because why not? Again, trying to be careful, which is funny because I'm literally getting splatter all over. Okay, stick one like right there. And then I am all thumbs. And then while I'm doing this, the unpaid intern can pick a winner.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Pop one like right there. There we go. And then we can stick a couple right there. There. Okay, where's my... There we go. Yeah, the birdie got an eye. I didn't forget. Now I just got to be careful because, again, everything's still a little bit wet here. So just... There we go. Get these adhered into place. Just like that. And then rotate that a bit so that, again, I don't want to make a big mess. Or a bigger mess, I guess I should say, because I have made a mess today. Goodness. Now I can pour these back in there, just like so. Put that like that. And then we just need to let this splatter fully dry. And then this card will be complete. So we've got so much texture going on between the embossing folder and then all the die cuts. We've got a little bit of glitter with that glitter paper, a little bit of bling, and then yeah, the inside, as always, you gotta have something on the inside, you know? And I gotta stop handling it. I gotta let the splatter dry. Let the splatter dry. Oh my goodness. I appreciate you all for sitting through those that lasted through all of this chaos. I appreciate you guys. This has been, yeah, today just caught up with me, I think, and I'm just not blarg. Just blarg is kind of how it feels. Okay, let me stick that there. In fact, let me switch over to, there we go. There we go. So yeah, it was definitely a much longer session. And only one card to show for it, but you know what? It turned out. I had fun, and I very much enjoy, chatting with you guys, and I don't know, reveling in the literal chaos, because that's my life. Okay. Oh, and I assume we have a winner.
We do. The winner today is Vicky in Illinois.
Vicky in Illinois.
Yep.
I'm behind the last 2 winners. I haven't mailed out either. Possibly this week. Like I always say. Like,
possibly.
I know.
There's always a possibility.
Yeah, it's always... I always gotta, give myself an out. It's like it will get sent out. It eventually, because it just depends, on all of the things, because things are crazy. My life is crazy. And there's always something. Okay, I want to put my little die cut pieces just back in the packaging. But yeah, I will hope maybe get things mailed out this week. Yeah. And then, ooh, I'm missing things. Oh, I have a mess. Oh, you guys, it's so bad. Ooh, trying not to wreck stuff.
Try not to.
Yeah, I'm trying to clean up as I go as much as possible. That's something other people ask sometimes. Oh, thank you to the disembodied hand. Thanks to the disembodied hand, aka the unpaid intern.
There is an arm attached to that.
Yeah, there's an arm. There's a person attached to it too. It's not the poltergeist. That's a whole separate entity. I've got tech gremlins, and there's pretty sure a poltergeist living in this garage. He likes to make my life chaos, and he likes to get into my cardstock thing, because that drawer will just open on its own. Again, because the floor is crooked, but I just say it's a poltergeist.
Poltergeist eat cardstock.
Oh no, they better not start eating it. I would cry. So, anywho, can you show us a couple of your favorite bird dyes? No. No. I couldn't even right now, I'm not even sure. I have a rough idea where they are, but I would have to dig through stuff, and I don't have the time, because this live went a lot longer than I had planned on. Ooh, make sure the lid, liquid products, make sure the lid is on. Oh, and I meant, if someone is watching, I had someone ask this in last week's live, I think, but it was in the comments, like after the live. It wasn't asked during, but they were asking about, they'd left a comment. They're like, you got the lids off so easily. And they said, like, they really struggle with removing the lids off of their ink cubes. And it can vary between brands somewhat. It can vary. And some ink cubes are just really difficult. Like, I've come across one sometimes that I was just like, and what I said to them, and I wish I don't have any like wide ones to show. But what I thought of, I was like, if you have something like, and I would recommend a wider one, not one like this. But if you have trouble with your ink cubes and you can't get the lids off, because mobility issues and all the things. What I thought of, I was like, wider than this, like a wide rubber band, like 2 of them. And if you put them, a couple of wide rubber bands, because that would give you a little bit more grip. And that should help you to at least, like, you still wouldn't need to necessarily be like, but maybe just to give you a little bit of grip. So if you had those rubber bands and you put one on the lid and one like that, that should hopefully give you enough. Another option is if they're just really stubborn, and you've got to be careful. I've done this in the past, is where the seam is between the lid and the ink cube is to take something with a very thin edge, and be careful. Like, be careful. Either work like this, you don't want to be like, and then stab yourself. That would be awful. But I've done this with certain things that just the lid does not want to come off, and to like work your way in between, So hopefully, I forget the name of the person that commented that, but hopefully that helps. That's just, and then, there was something else. Media grip. That might work. Would media grip work? And I wish I had an ink cube that was like really stubborn to show this, because like these ones, I've never had a problem with Simon's Positively saturated ink cubes. Okay. Would media grip work? Oh yeah. If you give me a second, because the unpaid intern has already left. He did his time. He's done. This comes in a large roll. So if you give me a second, I'll add it. But media grip would also work, because it's, so you could have a couple pieces of it, because you don't need very much. And again, it comes in like kind of a big roll, and you could use that, to give you a little bit more of a grip. So that would also, and this comes in handy. I need to like have a piece. Kathy Zielski uses this, the media grip. Mine is filthy, but she keeps a piece, and that's what she like glues her die cuts over, is a piece of this. And yeah, I really like this stuff. I just haven't been using it, but it's also nice to have if you don't have the ink cube holders or things like that. Like you can stick your ink cubes so they don't slide around. But yeah, the stuff is nice, and I just keep pieces like that. And if you give me a second, I will quickly add that to the supply list. But yeah, I thought I would mention that because I was asked it in the comments and I responded, but I'm not sure if the person saw it. So let me, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, is media grip. There we go. Yep. Okay. So I've added it to the supply list. And then I'll just stick it in the bottom of the description. And there was a little bug. Gross. Okay. If it's not one thing, it's another. There we go. So I just thought I would add that in there. Oh, I'm sweating, you guys. I'm sweating. Oh my goodness. You could maybe use the jar opening stuff from the grow. Yeah, like my thing with like that specific question, I was like, because some like I have things like the Pawsitively perfect mats as well that are really great for gripping like jars and stuff. But because cubes are so small, that's where I was trying to like think of something that would also be small-ish and not, you know, take over the ink cube. So yeah, like little either, you know, wide rubber bands just to, again, to give grip, or the media grip, or, you know, just getting something in there, you know, like a little die pick. Just always, of course, be careful when you're, because you don't want to stab yourself. So yeah, because I definitely get that. You know, we're all getting older and having issues, whether it's, you know, arthritic issues or just age. Some people have had surgery, different things. And it sucks when obviously those of us that are watching and participating in this, it's like we like to make things. We like to work with our hands and do these sorts of things. And then some techniques or some tools or some products just do not work. You know, you can't grip it, or it's all the different things. And I get that. I try to be really aware of that because I do have hand issues. I talked about that in, I think it was last week's live. I've talked about it in many lives. I have a genetic predisposition to arthritis, and I just try. That's why I have like the glue press and just everything to make it easier on my hands. Trying to keep cat hair off my media grip is a lost cause. Oh yeah, that like mine. Even though I keep mine like sealed, they're covered in dust, and like it just is what it is. But yeah, it is a handy handy thing to have with little screwdriver you use for your glasses works great to pry the lids up. Yeah, that would work too. This one actually, this little die pick, this is from Honeybee. I don't have it linked, but it does have a little spot, but it's a little too wide. It doesn't have a really thin tip. But yes, those little screwdrivers meant for the screws on your glasses. They're I have a set of those. Teens little things. The amount of times, and yeah, because I've been sweating, so my glasses have been sliding. Which, speaking of people leaving unsolicited advice, man, does it get some people really hot under the collar? The fact that I'm pushing up my glasses all the time. So this live will drive those ones crazy. And they're like, the amount of people that are yelling at me, literally like freaking out, like, get your glasses adjusted. And I was like, they have been, actually. It's just, I am an oil slick, and it just, you know, doesn't matter. And when I sweat like this, my glasses are sliding off my face. And yeah, my previous pair I had over adjusted because I got fed up with the comments and people freaking like emailing me about it. Anyway, I had them over adjusted to really hold them on my face, and it actually like rubbed sore. Like I had sores behind my ears. It was so bad. So now I'm like, you got to put up with it, folks. It is what it is. So anyway, um, I'm glad they're making tools to help us. I love the new handle for my platinum machine. Yes, Spellbinders released um, that handle that you can put onto your platinum or platinum 6 die cut machine. There's a different one. It depends on the machine you have. I don't have it, but I've seen it. And yeah, and it's got like a big, thick, like for the hand grip, and then it's longer so that you don't have to like rotate very much to die cut. And love that. I love that more people in the crafting space, not just specifically card making, but in the crafting space, are thinking of these things and coming up. Like I know We Are Makers has come out with a few different things. Like there was a pair of scissors. I've talked about this before, but they've come out with like a pair of scissors that have like foam type handles, and like Tim Holtz has his the newer scissors he came out with that don't have the like finger bits, you know, the there's a name for them. They've got the spring in it anyway, you know, all these sorts of things to make less, you know, less strain on hands and to also make things more accessible for people. And I like that, you know. I'm yeah. Yeah. I have the same deal going on with my glasses. If over adjusted, there's pain and sores behind the ears. So yeah, no, yeah. Like it just is. And I do. I'm an oily mess. So yeah, my recoils. Thank you, Leah. My brain was just like, that word doesn't, yeah, his recoil scissors. And Fiskars has been making something similar, but in their way for years as well. I have them somewhere in a drawer. I personally, because I talked about this, because people ask me about the scissors a lot. I have them. I got them. But I have a very specific way I use my scissors. But I'm glad I have them, because there might be a time, maybe in the near future, where my hands are just not working no more, you know, and I need the recoil scissors. So I get it. I get it. Anyway, doodly doodly doo. Oh, I'm glad, Tess. Yeah, the precision glue press, that was a legit, I don't want to get glue on my, this was a legit game changer. It's linked in the description, like below the video. Yeah, and I did a dedicated review of it after I'd had it for, I'd bought it, I used it for a good couple months, I think, before I finally did like an official review. And for me, game changer. Because that's where I was starting, you know, squeezing glue bottles. It was kind of this sort of action, you know, you're squeezing a glue bottle, and it was, oh, my hands. This, love it. Love it so much. I love it. I love it. It's, for me, game changer. Huge game changer. Okay. You could push them up with a different finger. I know, right? It's been tempting. Trust me, you guys, what I talked about earlier about my personality and me being a jerk and stubborn. That's also why I sweat during lives, because sometimes I want to respond when there are when someone's being petty. I want to dish it back out, and sometimes they deserve it, but I try not to. But sometimes I do. I can't help it. Yes, yeah, you guys get me. You guys get me. I changed the silicone nose. Well, my glasses are all like plastic. I can't have the nose pieces. I can't have metal frame glasses at all. I don't think I've ever talked about it. I can't have them because, again, not just my oily skin, but my skin will literally, like the oils will eat away at the metal, and I will end up with rashes where the metal touches my skin, like, because I am allergic to nickel, which is in most, you know, it's in cheap jewelry and a lot of glasses frames, even if they're coated, because they'll coat them, you know, they'll have different colors. But if it's a metal frame, over time, my skin will eat away at whatever the coating is, and then I end up with just rashes. And then the nose pieces, same thing, like it just gets awful. So I have to have like plastic frames. It's the only thing that works for me, because my skin's very You think I'm finicky. My skin's worse. It's awful. It's awful. Kathy, I've thought about getting the glue press. I'm concerned about not being able to see where I'm trying to glue as well. I don't glue because like this right here, this is my view. Like this is me looking down. If you notice, I don't glue like this. I glue like this. Like, so yeah, because if I was doing this, yeah, you can't see. You can't see nothing. But if you notice when I'm using it, which I was using it earlier, I glue like this. So I can see the nozzle tip. The only time I'm like, is when I'm doing like the background, I'm like, because who cares? I'm just slapping glue on the back. It doesn't matter. But for all the little pieces, I use it sideways. That's, yeah. Because I was like, this seems so big and bulky. No, I don't have a problem with that. I have an issue with creating conflict, so I choose to rebel silently and somewhat subtly. Well, and that's, I think, admirable in some ways. Me, I just wade right in there, like a dirty shirt, and I'm just like, rah, and then I get myself in trouble. Okay. Anyway. Okay. I enjoyed talking with you guys and chatting. And now I'm just procrastinating because I have a mess to clean up. And I got to do the social media stuff and all the other things and so much fun stuff. So yeah, that is it from me today. I'm very glad you guys stuck with me. This was a long live, a little bit chaotic. I was flustered today, definitely. And yeah, it's just happens. It happens. It is what it is. But yeah, I will have many videos again coming this week. So many things. More Halloween is coming. All sorts of fun things. So many fun things. So yeah, videos are coming. There will be at least one bonus live this coming week. Maybe two. I won't make promises on that. Yeah, I'm planning on going live. As of right now, I should be going live on Friday at 2 p.m. Central. Because that was just what kind of worked out with the schedule. So we'll just see. But yeah, I appreciate all of you. Links to everything are in the description below. I'll do the social medias and all the stuff, and then I'll keep everyone updated on whatever else is going on. And yeah, you guys are the best, and I appreciate you tons. And I will see you all very soon in the next video. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all later. Bye. Thank you so much to my amazing Patreon supporters. For anyone that might be interested in joining my Patreon community and supporting me, the link to my Patreon is in the description box below the video. For everyone else, as always, thank you all so much for taking the time to watch my videos, for thumbs upping, commenting, subscribe if you haven't, I'd love to have you. And here's a couple other videos for you to check out in case you missed them. Bye!